Hey everyone, this is Max and Max CTCG. Thanks for joining me in another video. So in this video, we're going over a new Trickstar Marincess card, which is pretty cool. It's going to be out of Duelist of Brilliance. It's going to be a character pack focused around light characters. I've already seen some of the Trickstar cards that have came out, and I think this is kind of like a connection to that. I believe the character in the show that played Trickstar moved on to Marincess in that series, so I'm not sure on that because I haven't watched it, but I think I remember hearing that, so let me know in the comments if that's correct. But we have Dance on Stage or Under the Sea with Trickstar Aqua Angel, so I think kind of making a connection to that in the show. And we only have the one card, so it shouldn't take too long. And I also have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization article linked in the description if you want to check this out. So we have Trickstar Aqua Angel. It's a level 4 water fairy effect monster, attack 0, defense 0, so kind of relating water to Marincess and fairy to Trickstar. This card is always treated as a Marincess card. You can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per duel. If you control a Trickstar or Marincess monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or grave. 2. Link monsters that point to this card cannot be destroyed by battle. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can look at your opponent's hand and all their set cards. So initially reading this, I think it's a really good card. It's very usable since it's always treated as a Marincess card. It should be searchable, and you can dump it off like Marincess Blue Tank to the grave to special summon it out, or you can get this off some of your Trickstar combos to be able to summon it out very easily. And also the ability to link it off and then look at your opponent's hand and set cards is really good, potentially allowing you to play around certain cards. I think this might be slightly better in the Trickstar deck just because of the fact that their links don't search on summon. So let's say you're trying to play around Duel to see if this card, to maybe do an alternate line, for example, in Trickstar. There's ways they can heavily play into Duel and get nowhere, and there's lines you can do that don't get you much advantage, but can let you play around Duel. So if you're worried about Duel, you can go into the link 1 with Trickstar, which this should be able to work with that. And you can look at your opponent's hand and then figure out, what do I need to do to play around these cards, which is cool. Where if you're trying to do this with Marincess, all their links do search. So at least with Duel, I think you'd be playing into it. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much Duel hurts Marincess. I would assume it hurts it an okay amount since it likes to search, but maybe they can play around it. But it could also let you play around other cards like Nibiru, which I believe Marincess has an issue with. I do think they have some lines to play around it, but I think it involves using shark cards. So if someone's a Marincess player and they want to let me know of what they think in that deck and does this let you play around certain cards, I think that's really good. The one thing that I think kind of hurts this a little bit is the once per duel. Now, I think that's reasonable on the ability to look at your opponent's hand and set cards. I think it's a very powerful effect. We've seen cards banned because of this or changed the way they work because of this interaction. Having hand knowledge is really key when being able to make optimal plays and playing around what your opponent has. Sometimes you have to make an inference on what your opponent has at hand, and sometimes you make the wrong one. You're like, hey, everyone's playing infinite permanence, I'm going to play around imperm, and then they don't have imperm. And they made a weaker board that loses to other cards that they could have maybe adjusted to if they knew. So I think that can make sense on the looking at your opponent's hand, but I really hate that it also affects the special summon option, just because I think that really hurts this card in a longer duel. I feel like once you use this card once, you just take it out for something else, because if you can't special summon it, and then you also don't get the look at your opponent's hand effect, it's pretty much a vanilla at that point outside of the battle protection, which I don't think is enough. Or at the very least, if this was just an easy special summonable body, then at least that's good. And maybe that's too easy to summon. There's so many cards in Marincess that can dump this, or you could search to summon it out in Trickstar. It seems like a pretty easy card to use, so maybe that's where they're balancing it. But I think making the first effect once per duel is a little bit too much. But overall, I think this at the very least is a 1-of card. I would have liked to have played this as a 3-of in these strategies, allowing you to look at your opponent's hand and play through cards right away without even having to search it. Because I think hard opening this with another starter or another play is even better than having to search it and maybe playing into other cards. So I think that would help. But because of the fact that the card pretty much becomes dead after you use its special summon and kind of link off effect, I think that kind of sucks. I mean, maybe what you could do is normal summon it and then make an extender and then play that way. So at the very least in the second duel, you have the special summon effect still alive. But, I think just making that special summon option a once per duel as well, I think kind of hurts the playability of this card. So let me know what you guys think in the description. I think the effect is really good. Getting hand knowledge and card knowledge on field is huge. Very big deal. But again, I think the once per duel hurts it. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. How many do you think you're going to run? does this really help out Trickstar or Marincess a lot for people that are super kind of into those decks specifically? Again, I feel a little more comfortable with Trickstar just because did more of a kind of deeper dive on that with the new support, where the Marincess, I know it at least surface level, and I know there's some things with playing around Nib, but I'm not super familiar with the deck overall. It's not one I pilot. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are and how it affects those decks. I look forward to hearing it in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.